most amazing things that plants do is they can move water really long distances without using any energy. It's absolutely beautiful the way that plants are able to move water without using any energy. Remember, water is the most important molecule for a plant. It's going to be crucial for photosynthesis. If there is no water, there are no light reactions in photosynthesis. Photosynthesis literally cannot happen. So the idea that plants can move water using no energy, this molecule is so important for the rest of their metabolic pathways, is really wonderful. We have the transpiration cohesion theory that explains how water is able to move through a plant. We want to start down here in the roots. And at the roots, we have two main ways that water is going to enter into the root vascular system and enter into the rest of the plant. The first is the apoplastic route. The apoplastic route is where water is moving in between the cell walls, and it goes straight to the Casparian strip. Once it reaches the Casparian strip, then it crosses the cell membrane and gets into the root vascular system. It's a very fast way of moving water, and whenever I think about the apoplastic route, I think about it as being the equivalent of having water moving between my clothes and my skin. You know, it's not actually getting inside of my body, but it's moving in between there. It's got to feel really strange from a plant point of view. The other way that water moves is the symplastic route. And the symplastic route is going to be a little bit slower because the water is going to move through every single cell. It's got to cross cell membranes multiple times before it reaches the Casparian strip and eventually gets into the vascular system. So there's two main ways that water is going to get into our plant vascular system. And when I'm talking about the plant vascular system, we're really talking about that xylem tissue, our tracheids and our vessel elements. Remember, our tracheids are those elongated cells that are kind of tapered at either end, and they kind of slide next to one another, and the water zigzags through the tracheids. Where our vessel elements are great big huge chunks. They stack one on top of another, essentially forming a straw going from the leaves, from the shoots, going all the way down to the roots. So what happens, the way how water is able to be moved through a plant using no energy, is the first step happens here in the leaves. In the leaves, we are going to have our little guard cells. Remember, our guard cells have that ability to make a hole, and that hole is called the stoma. When our guard cells open up the stoma, open up the mouth, water can evaporate. Think back to when we looked at leaves underneath the microscope. Remember, I emphasized and really wanted you to focus in on looking at all of those air spaces so you could understand that when those stoma open and those air spaces allow all of that water to leave, that evaporation is going to drive this entire system in the movement of water. So a little water molecule is going to escape from our stoma. It's going to evaporate into the atmosphere. This little water molecule can be something like a cloud or could go become some rain droplets. We don't really care. So water evaporates. Now water molecules are cohesive. They like each other. They like to stick to one another. So here in our xylem tissue, we have our water molecules, our two hydrogens and our oxygen, and each water molecule is going to stick to other water molecules. And so going all the way down through our xylem tissue, we have these individual water molecules all stuck to one another. So when this water molecule leaves, it pulls the next one, pulls the next one, pulls the entire chain, it pulls that entire chain of water molecules all the way from the root. Now, as soon as our stoma closes, as soon as the mouth of the plant is closed, it's not like the water goes sliding all the way through the xylem and back out through the roots. Water is adhesive. It's going to stick to the cell walls of the xylem tissue, and it's going to stay in place. So at the next time our stoma opens, that water molecules right next to that stoma can leave and evaporate and start this pulling process. Now this pulling process of water through the xylem is what's going to drive and help the pressure flow hypothesis, the movement of sugars in the plant. But that's a different video. Join me in the garden for the sugar flow, the pressure flow hypothesis for how plants are moving water from the source to the sink. If you have any questions, please let me know.